Is there a black moon on August 22nd into the 23rd? You've probably seen this graphic going around social media recently, or at least something very similar to it. But these graphics have been getting shared by these spam meme pages that exist only to generate comments, likes, and shares in order to generate revenue for the page owners. And as I confirmed the other day, these pages are run by AI, so there is no point in interacting with them. I want to take this graphic and break down 4 misinformation points that you see on it. The first thing here is that these are not extremely rare events, as the graphic says. Every phase of the moon repeats in the exact same pattern, known as the 19-year metonic cycle. Additionally, there are always 3 exact phases that occur twice in a single season, and this repeats on a 33-month cycle. This is due to the length of time it takes for the moon to go from one phase all the way around back to the Earth and land on that phase again, which is actually about 29.3 days, not 28 like most people think. The second point I want to hit here is that the skies are not going to be any darker during this new moon than any other new moon. There's nothing special about this new moon that is going to cause the night sky to magically appear darker. A new moon occurs when the moon is in front of the sun, and it can be off to the side because the moon's traveling constantly. When the moon is within about 20 degrees of the sun, it does not matter what time of night you look at the sky. The light from the moon is not going to impact your viewing because by the time the moon starts coming up above the horizon, the sunlight is also going to be there. The third point here, and this is probably the worst on this entire graphic. The graphic claims that a black moon occurs when we get 2 new moons in a single calendar month. It takes the moon 29.3 days to go from, let's say, the new phase all the way back around the Earth to the new phase again. How can the new phase possibly happen twice in 22 days if it takes 29 days for the moon to go back to the same phase? Think about that and look at this information. How could you possibly mess this up? There wasn't another new moon earlier in August, so how could there be a second one on August 22nd? In fact, the last new moon that we had was July 23rd and 24th, about a month ago, 29 days. And now for the final point in the graphic, it talks about how the dark side of the moon will be pointing toward the Earth. And this one is probably a little bit of a stretch for me to bring up, but here we go anyway. While the dark side of the moon facing the Earth appears to be legitimate, the context of its use in this graphic implies that the graphic thinks we are seeing the side of the moon not seen from the Earth. However, the same side of the moon always faces the Earth. A new moon is simply when the side facing us is experiencing nighttime, and the side, what we call the far side of the moon, is experiencing daytime. And as someone on social media pointed out, this graphic shows a waxing crescent moon. But I'm not going to be too much of a stickler for that one. So remember, when you're on social media, especially when it comes to science and astronomy, make sure you are going to a source who practices astronomy and then practices science. These faceless AI slot pages are just there to generate revenue for whoever owns them. That's it. To get likes, get shares, and get comments. It all adds up. Just block it when you see it and make sure you're talking to a real person. You can always give me a follow because I do this for a living, and know that I will make sure that you know what's up in the sky and what's actually legitimate to look at. So until next time, keep looking up, but don't look for the black moon.